Hello, everybody. Welcome to part 3 of 20 questions in the Dan Markel murder and also questions concerning the Charles Adelson trial. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for caring about this case. And I know that there's not a ton of news. Don't start throwing tomatoes at me. I'm trying to bring you guys some of the basic questions that keep getting asked over and over again. Thank you guys so much for being patient in this trial. I just want to get into the next 5 questions really quickly, but just as a little teaser, some things that stood out to me, some things that I think you might find interesting are some new information that I found about Wendy sharing a bank account with Donna, and also Charlie and Donna having joint bank accounts, and also some more stuff about the stapled money. So it was interesting to me. So if you want to stay tuned. Also, you know, if you're tired of this case, just take a break. If you want to stop watching, like, I totally understand as well. There's not a lot of new news, so except for the call logs that I have coming out. So I love that you guys are enjoying the call logs. So thank you guys so much for understanding and bearing with me. So thank you so much. All right, so let's just jump right into the next 5 questions. Question number 10 is, what will Charlie's defense be? And I think that it's going to be probably delays, and I've talked about doing a video about delays, although I'm not going to do that video until there are actual delays, and I'm hoping that Charlie's defense doesn't use that as a tactic, but also, just like Katie's defense team did, maybe just using questioning of the police in general. And I want to show a clip of Detective Chris Corbett, and he's really pushed on his heels by Christopher DeCoste in the trial 3 years ago by Katherine Magbanua's lawyer, Christopher DeCoste. So I want to kind of throw it to that clip right now.
It goes a step further than that, because there can be an officer that's there and they deem something not relevant, right?
Correct.
And we wouldn't have a recording of that.
As long as they minimize that portion of the conversation, then no, we would not have record of that.
Well, they could deem the entire call not relevant as well too, right?
They could. I'm certainly not aware of that happening.
Now, it wasn't just a small team of people that were monitoring these calls. There was a lot of people at Tallahassee Police Department, a lot of law enforcement that were involved in this, right?
That's correct, yes.
Working throughout the day, throughout the night.
Correct.
People need to take food breaks, take bathroom breaks. Could have been left unattended. We could be missing calls, right?
No. Again, the scheduling of officers took into account all of that, and there were people to provide relief or breaks, something that I did myself. If someone needed to be away from the terminal, then someone else could log in and take that. Or if it's really slow, one person could monitor multiple lines. So there's not a reason that we shouldn't have at least attempted to listen to calls.
At the end of the day, though, it's within the discretion of people at Tallahassee Police Department of what's recorded and what's not, right?
Yes.
Who monitors you?
The supervisors and the case agents.
Outside of Tallahassee Police Department, who monitors this whole process?
The state attorney's office.
This state attorney's office?
Yes.
These prosecutors?
Yes.
So as you can see, you know, Christopher asks Detective Corbett, you know, who monitors you? I mean, that's a pretty bold statement for a lawyer to just say, like, you know, is the police corrupt? Like, that's a pretty bold accusation. Let's hope that Charlie doesn't use those defense tactics like Katie's team. Also, questioning the cell phone towers. I hope that they don't question the cell phone towers like they did in Katie's trial. Let's go to another clip where they question the cell phone towers.
Now, you can't give an absolute as to a person's location with call detail records, right? Not talking about the handset, talking about a person's location, right?
With the call detail records that we're using here, no.
Well, the first thing there's unknown variables. One of them being you don't know who has a handset.
That's correct.
That's why we say handset instead of the person, right?
That's correct.
Now, with respect to your analysis, that's also believing that the system, and when I say system, Tower A, Tower B, all the towers in Miami, that they're all working as they should be, right?
That's part of it, yes.
That they're working normally.
Yes.
Although it is rare, we saw it with Tower A, every now and then they go out of service. It's rare, but they go out of service.
That's correct.
It could be maintenance, right?
Yes.
It could be a storm, right?
Yes.
Or it could just be electronics breaking.
It could be, yes.
We've seen it for the past 2 weeks in this courtroom.
We have.
You can get records of when things were maintenance or when they were down, right?
Sometimes we can, yes.
Sometimes.
Correct.
We don't have it in this case, though, do we?
We do not.
They were never obtained,
They were not.
nor were they requested.
That's correct.
So again, we're assuming that this system was working normally.
Again, we know from the records, the cell sites and sectors that were working, because those are the ones the handset was communicating with. Those in and of themselves tell us the approximate or general area that handset could be in, and is enough for us to make that determination. If we were trying to get extremely granular and take my general area and bring it down into something more specific, then that's the kind of information that we would want to do. But for our purposes, it's unnecessary.
So as you can see, I know that like the 00 calls were a big deal. Like a lot of motions were filed in Katie's trial of like mistakes that the Tallahassee Police Department, quote unquote mistakes, or like quote unquote like credibility claims, which we totally respect the Tallahassee Police Department and district attorneys in Tallahassee. So we understand those tactics. So if we see them, hey, we'll discuss it. I don't think Charlie's defense team will do that. Hopefully not. All right, so let's say question number 11 is, how much did Wendy know? And, she's sworn on the Bible on the stand to tell the truth. So she's telling as much as she knows to keep herself out of jail, just kind of like to keep herself out of this. Let's just hope, you guys, that she kind of trickles in more information to, even if it does indict her own family, she has done that. Like, I know that a lot of people gotten in trouble for defending Wendy at all, but, we're not putting her character on trial. This is how much she knew about the murder of Dan Markel. And all I can say is, like, I seriously hope more information comes out. And if Wendy did know, like, I hope she finds it in her heart to tell whatever the truth that she knows. And I do find Jeffrey LaCrosse credible. I do find Luis Rivera credible. So going with that, I think you can basically understand where I stand on the whole Wendy issue, and time will tell. I think she's working with the police department as much as she can to save herself. So the next question is Luis Rivera credible? And guys, I kind of was reminded of something really important. One of the key pieces of evidence in Charlie's trial is going to be the stapled money. So a lot of people said Luis was kind of coached in the interview, his interrogation, or his proffer. He had spoken about the stapled money, and that was not in the press, you guys. So him knowing about the stapled money kind of set into a chain reaction of like Junim Chenda talking about the stapled money. And this is going to be very important moving forward. There's no way he could have known about stapled money. It was not in the media at that time. I do find him credible. They did find a couple of mistakes, like him, forgetting the date of the speeding ticket, or maybe the Wendy sighting. We can kind of backtrack and squash that one. Maybe he was mistaken. Maybe it was someone else who looked like Wendy, but I find him pretty credible. All right, so, and guys, also just want to note, these are my opinions, and I'm really going to try not to speculate as far as like what's going to happen in this trial. We never know. I think speculating is not what I want to do. My sources are the Tallahassee court records for this case, and the trials and any of the interrogations. Let's just say some of these are my opinions, and I'm going to try to preface that. Okay, so 13, who was the mastermind? This is just my opinion of who the mastermind is by who the most evidence is against right now, and I believe it's Charlie. So I did the Who is a Mastermind video, and I think that there was the most evidence against Charlie as far as to who could have thought of this, who kind of put the wheels into motion, and my opinion. Or, you know, some people might think Katie. I think it's a close second for Katie and then Donna. So 14, will Wendy be arrested? And, you know, that's such a tough question. It's like, if her character was on trial, you know, we might say, oh my God, the things she's done are so horrible. And I think that if John Laura's watching, you know, he's probably just so angry that we even talk about this. But, you know, with the Datelines coming out and the 2020, you know, they have the narrative of like, why would Dan read Wendy's book? Snarky sound bites that we hear from Wendy, beginning to look like one of those Dateline episodes where, you know, will Wendy be taken away in handcuffs? I honestly don't know. I don't know. That's why one reason we keep watching. Hopefully new information will trickle in, like some kind of smoking gun. You know, honestly, you guys, I don't hope that anyone is arrested. I wish none of this had ever happened. I wish we could take away the pain from Ruth Markel. I wish we all didn't lose sleep over this. I wish we could all be nice to each other and the world would be this wonderful, happy place. Oh, and I also wanted to note that Wendy and Donna also share a bank account, a checking account. According to the court documents of some of the information in Charlie's file, also Charlie and Donna share a bank account. They all have a lot of finances that are intertwined. So Wendy protecting her own family is probably because, you know, they do hold the purse strings and help her probably with her defense attorneys and all this big mess that was created. She kind of is dependent on them. That's not defending Wendy. It's just something interesting that I found that I wish, you know, my mom and dad would share a bank account or checking account with me, but the Adelsons kind of work in a different way, and they also shared one with Charlie and Donna, and it's all very intertwined, intermingled, not with Rob Adelson. Rob has stayed very separate, but just something that I wanted to note. All right, number 15, why didn't the Markels file a civil trial? And one thing is, I kind of ask myself, would I want to spend my life savings on a trial when there's already going to be a state trial? I think that they probably communicated to the Markel family that there's going to be many trials. There's going to be so many trials that they're already spending money on. Their lawyers, they're already spending money on plane tickets, hotels, and all the stress of the trials. And we read in Ruth Markel's book that is very stressful and expensive. I think the Markels made the right decision of not filing a civil trial, and also probably things to do with like passports and them living in Canada is probably more difficult than we could possibly understand. Those are my questions of part 3. I just also want to really urge you guys to buy Dan Markel's book, Privilege or Punish. It's so shocking how many parallels there are concerning burdens of underprivileged families compared to benefits of privileged families. It was so shockingly similar to this case. I'm going to read more and share more with you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. And for those of you who aren't losing steam, there's like kind of a core group of us who kind of watch all the channels and come to chat on all the videos. And thank you guys so much for being those people in that group. And I want to thank you all for being so kind and warm, and let's continue that moving forward and just be patient and loving to one another. And thank you guys so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.